Welcome to the Mystery and History channel. Be sure to subscribe and like so you don't miss out on more videos like this one. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, circus freak shows drew crowds eager to witness the unusual. People with rare conditions were put on display as living attractions, while audiences watched in awe and curiosity. But behind the curtains, their stories were far more complex than they seemed. Today, we dive into the world of so-called freak shows and the incredible lives of those who lived in the shadows of the spotlight. Daisy and Violet Hilton were conjoined twin sisters, joined at the hip, and began performing in sideshows at the age of 3. Born in England in 1908, they were exploited as attractions from childhood, exhibited at fairs and circuses without receiving any profits from their own work. By around 1927, they were already well-known performers in the United States, appearing in vaudeville shows and touring variety acts. Despite their hardships, the sisters learned to play musical instruments and dance, becoming one of the most famous duos in sideshow entertainment at the time. They fought for their independence and, in the 1930s, managed to free themselves from the exploitation of their guardians, taking control of their own performances. Their story inspired the film Freaks, 1932, in which they made a brief appearance, cementing themselves as iconic figures of traveling shows in that era. Bill Dirks, known as the Three-Eyed Man, was born with a rare condition called severe craniofacial cleft, which caused a large gap in the center of his face. Although he had only 2 functional eyes, he painted a third eye in the gap to create an even more striking appearance for his performances. Throughout his career, he worked in sideshows and traveling fairs, being promoted as a three-eyed man. Despite his intriguing appearance to the audience, he was known for his kind personality. Behind the scenes, his fellow performers regarded him as a reserved and respectful man. His story reflects how many sideshow performers turned their unique traits into a means of livelihood and recognition. George Shelley holds Crowell Farini, a sideshow performer born with hypertrichosis, a rare condition that caused her body to be covered in hair. Discovered as a child in Southeast Asia, Cryo was taken to the United States and promoted as a missing link between humans and primates, an exaggerated narrative designed to attract audiences to traveling shows at the time. During the 1890s and early 1900s, she became one of the most well-known performers in variety shows, traveling with the Barnum and Bailey Circus and other major attractions. Despite the sensationalized stories, Crowell was known for her intelligence and independence, adapting to life in the United States and becoming fluent in multiple languages. Josephine Myrtle Corbin was born in 1868 in the United States and became known as the Four-Legged Woman due to a rare embryonic fusion that resulted in the duplication of her lower body. From a young age, she attracted public curiosity and found independence through the entertainment industry. Over the years, Myrtle performed at fairs and traveling shows where her story captivated crowds. Despite the challenges, she lived a full life, married, and had children, defying the expectations of her time. Mary Ann Bevan was born in England in 1874 and lived an ordinary life until she developed acromegaly, a rare condition that caused abnormal bone growth and changes in her appearance. Before that, she worked as a nurse and built a family. After losing her husband, she faced financial struggles and turned to the entertainment industry as a way to support her children. She became a popular attraction at fairs and circuses in Europe and the United States, including the famous Dreamland in Coney Island. Her presence in shows drew public curiosity, but also helped her achieve financial independence at a time with few opportunities for women. Despite her challenges, she moved forward with determination, leaving her mark on the history of traveling shows until her passing in 1933. Fannie Mills, known as the Ohio Bigfoot Girl, was born around 1860 and suffered from Milroy disease, a rare condition that caused extreme swelling in her feet and legs. During the 1890s, she became a sideshow attraction, displaying her enormous feet, which measured over 19 inches. To draw even more public attention, show organizers claimed that her father would offer a large reward to anyone who married her, a strategy to boost audience interest. Despite her condition, Fanny led an active life and eventually married William Brown, a close family friend. In addition to performing at fairs and circuses, she also posed for photographs that were sold as souvenir cards, something very popular at the time. Pascual Piñon traveled across the United States in 1917 as the attraction known as the Two-Headed Mexican. He worked on a railroad in Texas when he caught the attention of a showman. Piñon had an unusual growth on his head, and to make it even more striking, show organizers added a wax mold, creating the illusion of a second face. For years, he performed at fairs and traveling circuses, sparking public curiosity. It is said that after retiring from the show business, he underwent a procedure to remove the growth and returned to a quiet life in Mexico. His journey illustrates how many performers of that era used visual tricks to draw crowds in a time fascinated by unusual displays. Grady Stiles Jr., known as Lobster Boy, was born with ectrodactyly, a congenital condition that caused his hands and feet to resemble claws. Coming from a family with the same condition, he followed tradition and became a sideshow attraction, capturing public attention from a young age. Despite his success in performances, his personal life was filled with difficulties. He faced family struggles and battled personal issues that impacted his path. In 1978, a serious incident involving a family conflict led to his arrest, making his story one of the most infamous among sideshow performers. His case highlights the complexities of life behind the spectacle, showing that many of these artists face challenges beyond the stage. Stefan Biebrowski, known as Lionel the Lion-Faced Man, was born in 1890 in Poland with a rare condition called hypertrichosis, which caused his body to be covered in an unusual amount of hair, reaching up to 8 inches in length on his face. His unique appearance caught the attention of showmen, and he began performing in traveling fairs and circuses at a young age. Throughout his career, Lionel traveled across Europe and the United States, becoming one of the most popular attractions of the Ringling Brothers and other major shows of the time. Despite his striking appearance, he was described as an educated man, fluent in multiple languages, surprising audiences with his intelligence and sophistication. After years in the entertainment industry, he retired in Germany, where he lived quietly until 1932. Ruth Berry, known as the Penguin Girl, performed in sideshows from 1930 to 1965. She was born with phocomelia, a rare condition that affected all her limbs, causing her arms and legs to be shortened and her fingers to be fused, creating a flipper-like appearance. Throughout her career, Ruth traveled with circuses and traveling fairs, showcasing her condition to the public and often demonstrating skills that challenged her physical limitations. Like many sideshow performers, she found a way to earn a living and gain recognition at a time when opportunities for people with disabilities were scarce. Her presence in shows reflected the public's fascination with physical differences and the resilience of those who turned their conditions into a way of life. Charles Sherwood Stratton, better known as General Tom Thumb, was born in 1838 in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Although he grew normally during his first few months, he stopped growing around his first year of life, reaching only 25 inches in adulthood. His rare condition caught the attention of showman P.T. Barnum, who saw great potential in him as a performer. By the age of 5, Stratton was already part of Barnum's shows and soon became one of the most popular attractions of the 19th century. Barnum turned Stratton into a true star, teaching him to sing, dance, and act in small theatrical performances. He performed as a general in military outfits and played comedic roles, often impersonating historical figures like Napoleon Bonaparte. His talent and charisma led him to perform for European royalty, including Queen Victoria of England and Emperor Napoleon III of France. Beyond his career, Stratton became famous for his marriage to Lavinia Warren in 1863, a highly publicized event that drew significant attention from the public and press. The ceremony was so prestigious that even President Abraham Lincoln welcomed the couple to the White House. Despite his fame and fortune, Stratton led a relatively modest life in his later years. He passed away in 1883 at the age of 45, leaving behind a legacy as one of Barnum's most iconic circus performers. Horace Ridler was born in England and served as a British Army officer during World War I. After the war, he decided to change his life and entered the world of sideshow entertainment. At first, he performed as an ordinary tattooed man, but to stand out, he covered his entire body with black stripes, creating his identity as Zebra Man. The tattoos were done by George Burchett, one of the most famous tattoo artists of the time, and the process took several years. To enhance his appearance, Ridler also modified his face by stretching his ears, removing some teeth, and shaping his eyebrows into an arched form. He wore flashy clothes and exotic accessories to reinforce his show persona. Despite his extreme appearance, Ridler was known for his elegance and refined manners, often surprising audiences with his articulate speech and distinguished behavior. During his career, he performed in the United States and Europe, becoming one of the main attractions in major circuses and sideshows. In interviews, he said his transformation was an investment and that without it, he would just be one among thousands.